Or
No questions anymore?
26.
All right, we can get started then, Alfred, if you're good to go. I'll bring the screen up.
Yeah. Okay. Can you go back to the first one? Sorry. Go back to the first one. Yeah. Okay. One of the things we didn't talk about was the actual chupka iwum sa kaikit uwo sa okinmiyet. Okay. We say the month first, which is the deer make noises, which is this time of year when the deer are running and they're making noises. I won't get the 29th day and sa oken Monday, the first day of the week, Monday. Okay, so that's how you would put down your daily date. If you're interested in doing that in the class, and then having underneath that the English, November the 29th, Monday, November the 29th. Okay, go ahead, Mara, to the vocal exercises.
Do you want to do the sounds or go straight to the exercises?
Let's do the sounds, do it fairly quickly,
Okay.
because I know we had, last week, we didn't quite have enough time to finish all the different slides. So, okay, we're going to go cha, che, cho. Cha, che, cho. Ha, he, ho. Ga, gi, go. Ka, ke, ko. Sa, se, so. La, le, lo. Ma, me, mo. Ma, me, mo. Na, ne, no. Na, ne, no. Pa, pe, po. Okay, Mary, you can take over here as I can't see the pa yet.
A, E, U. Ka, I, ku. Ka, I, ku. Sa, si, su. Ta, ti, tu. Ta, ti, tu. Wa, we, woo. Ha, he, who. Ya, ye, you.
Okay, next. Okay, pa, papa. Pe, pichak. Po, popotik. Popotik. I'm going to have to slow down a little bit because I'm sort of aware that we're going to be I'm sort of rushing too far or too fast, so I'm just going to slow down. Ka, kaya, kawo. Kaya, kawo. Ke, wake, wake. Po, kokin, kokin. Ka, ka, pamik. Ka, ak, pamik. A Spoke. A Spoke. O Koyo. O Koyo. Sa Sawasko. Sa Sawasko. Se Sena. So Sokis Meyet. So Sokis Meyet. Da Nok. Da Nok. De Ditto. De Ditto. Do Domo. Do Domo. Asok. Asok. Enamo. Enamo. O Toksoho make. O Toksoho make. Was naked. Was naked. We wishes no horse. We wishes no horse. Wo what? Wo what? Happy. Happy. Henna. Henna. Honanok. Honanok. Yak somes. Yak somes. Yetke. Yetke. Yokeswe. Yokeswe. Any questions on that? Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, what does the group feel like? Do you want to switch into different groups or stay in one group?
I kind of liked the breakout rooms. It was a little bit more intimate for hearing the words. Patty? Just my opinion.
Okay, thumbs up for breaking into groups. You go down to your reactions and then you put the thumb up. Okay, it looks like we're breaking into groups here, so. Okay, what did we do what was the time last week we had the groups made into how long?
Well, I don't know. Was it 20 minutes, Mara? Yeah, Sana's nodding.
Okay, let's go 25 this time.
Okay. So until about 7:38, is that right? Mountain time. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay, should I just break out then randomly into two groups here?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
Can we record in both groups and add them to the recording?
Good question. Does anybody have Zoom knowledge greater than mine? I'm not sure how to record breakouts simultaneously. I don't think you can, but somebody might know better than me. Shannon, you're Zoom savvy, right? Jade,
I have no idea if you can record in breakout rooms. I assume that there's a way, I just don't know how to do it.
I've never seen that function, but I will research that for next time. Jade,
I
Jade's
just
got-
Googled it quick. It says if your host has already opened the breakout rooms, they can join your breakout room to allow you to record. Click record in the meeting controls and you can start a local recording.
Okay, so Mara, as a co-host, you might be able to click record on your room, and I will see if I can click record in the room with Alfred.
With me.
Good suggestion, thanks. Okay, I will break us out into two groups here.
Ah.
And Alfred.
Yep.
I'll move you to, let's see, where's Mara? Oh, Mara's in group 2. So if you want to join group 1. And Marlene and Gracie, are you good? Okay.
Recording in progress.
So did you manage to record your side of the room?
No, and thankfully, otherwise you would have just seen stops and starts where our internet decided one and one it wanted to work. We got through the slides. Unfortunately, they didn't have the best opportunity, but everybody got to say their words and we went through all the slides. Did you guys record it?
We recorded it, but I obviously had trouble navigating to the right section in the master. So we got to a point and we realized, oh, well, we've been reviewing.
What about
But
you? You
not-
did your job.
Anyway, I think we all learned something in various departments.
You did your job. And
Alfred? Oh, there's Alfred.
Yeah, we had, we didn't do the numbers. We didn't get to the numbers. We did the everyday classroom items. And we did not do the outdoor basics or the clothing. So there were a few things. Yeah, the issue was we had to, we couldn't get to the right slides.
Oh,
So we'll have to, if you send the files for next week on PDF, I
Okay.
don't know what the, yes, X or something that you're sending, and I can't seem to drag them onto my file for this group.
will do. In the meantime, I can bring that slide up if everybody wants to look at it again. The outdoor items.
Go to the basics, yeah, outdoor items.
Okay.
Okay, the outdoor basics. Kin Coco is matches or used for starting a fire. Kotas is axe or hatchet. Axe or hatchet. So the difference between, if you said kotas with a hard Q, you would be saying fat, animal fat, or you know, and there wouldn't be an axe. So kotas with a small Q, and we have a word kotas, which is with the hard Q. So you got to make sure you have the right Q in there. Kotas is for axe or hatchet. Chikat setitmos. Chikat setitmos. Again, I'm not expecting the group to go with the K, so we're just going to ignore that and start with the cent sign sound. Chikat setitmos. Those are binoculars. That means the the thing that you use to look around with, look an area around with. Okay, rope, kawo, kawo, chamas is all by itself means any kind of knife. Chamas, like a table knife, butcher knife. Chamas. Chamas nana means little knife, which would be this one here. This is a little pocket knife. Chamas nana. Kasnukachnimos is a flashlight or lantern or any type of like the headlamps people have. Kasnukachnimos. Now I've been struggling in the years I've worked with the language, trying to figure out what that means. And I think I just wrote had it once, but I'll have to find out what that means. Ktunaxa. Okay, next slide. Let's see what. Okay, Velt. Count. There's a rolling M. Count down. Count down. Shan for shoes. Shan. Again, the rolling N this time. Basya. Basya for mittens. There's a different word for gloves. So basya was what we always had as a tribal people. We always had mittens rather than gloves. The gloves were after settlers came in. So basya, sikapo for jacket. That word is an adopted or a take from the French for le capot. Le capot is formed from that French word, le capot. Comemos, pajamas. Sokhakanam for skirt or dress, or yeah, skirt. Sokhakpoknam. Ganakpok for pants. And can you just scroll up just a little bit so I can read the scarf?
I'm afraid it doesn't do that.
Okay. It's you'll have to look on your
Itisu.
let me just see here. Oh, I don't have that one here. That means that thing that is covering up the neck. Is she got something more?
Kakani.
Name was okay, yeah. And then the akat is, have you got akat wumsa?
Sí.
So sometimes you could have add a T to that. Akat wumsa means a shirt or the upper body covering. And then akasikinam. Akasikinam. The Ktunaxa language is very strange because when I first saw this word, when I was like reading akasikinam, it didn't make any sense to me. And so the way the word is said is akasikinam, akasiki. There's small short eyes in there. Akasikinam. And the last one, I'm not too sure what that itik ayukanam. Itik ayuka. Ayuka is hat. Itik means a stretchy hat. Oh, there you go. Itik ayukanam. Okay. Okay, any questions? We are,
Could you do,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to ask, could you do dress again? Please?
Skirt.
Skirt, sorry.
Good, okay. Could you want to put that slide up, Mara? The skirt. I don't have that on my okay. Sukhak Puknam. Sukhak Puknam.
Thank you, Usuki.
Yeah, I haven't broken up that word as to it has something with in our language, our body parts are very play a very important role in the language, and it describes different things. So PUK, book, means comes from the word for our butt. So it has to do something with, whether you're putting that up, like lifting it up over your butt or whatever. And pants, kanakpok, means you're getting into the pants, the action of putting your legs into the jeans and putting it up. So that's what the word kanakpok is. Okay, any more questions? We're just about out of time. So I think next week, I think we're going to have to really zoom through all the different words that we get for the slides. Because my group didn't do the numbers this week, so we'll have to catch up.
Just want to verify with you and everyone else that December's 2 sessions
Lost you. Yeah, we lost you on that.
Alfred, in the comments,
Yeah.
it said tonight's class, does it end at 8 or 8:30?
Oh no, it should end at 8:30. Sorry, I'm all mixed up because I'm sort of in a panic because of I'm totally confused with all the slides and what you guys are saying were on what you guys got and what I printed out are totally different. And so yeah, we could probably do the breakout rooms a little bit longer, probably another 15 minutes longer. That'll give us time to get through all of them. Yeah, I've been working on language for like I'm so spaced out mentally because I had been working with the conversation piece for my other group, and I was listening to I think about an hour tape and transcribing it all, and then working through and editing that, learning how to edit that language tape, taking all the English out of it, and just having the speaker. So I've been busy with that, and then I did a verb list for the bigger group. So I've been busy. My mind is sort of running 1,000 miles an hour. So I was thinking it was 8 o'clock, but my other group stops at the top of the hour, like 9. So I don't know what I was thinking. Why I was sort of pushing to quit at 8.
You
Well,
lost your hat to keep your thoughts in.
Yeah, some of the my bigger group of language learners, they know where my mind goes all over the place and comes up with new ideas. And so every day I'm working on language on some form or other. So any
That would
questions?
I see Mardell here has said that she has a room, we have a room full of educators and somebody would be willing to take on some of the tech stuff. So maybe we will in the future look towards that. But I also, while my internet is working, I want to make sure that we discuss the December sessions. There are no new slides for December. We are just going over everything, correct? Alfred?
Uh, yeah.
Okay, so we'll have
So
plenty of chances.
are we? How many weeks in December? Is that 2 or 3? I don't have a calendar at all.
We had 2 scheduled classes that were just going to be refreshers for anybody wanting to join because we know how busy December is for you guys. So there's no huge commitment, but we'll just be going over everything and any questions that anybody has. And then we'll start our week 6 slides when we come back in January.
Is there any way we could work on the numbers again? I'm not sure if we covered 11 to 20. I'm just, if we have time for that.
Yeah, we could do that.
So can you?
I'm bringing the slides up now.
Okay. So remember 10 is itwo. Itwo sa okay. You already know itwo and okay. So it's 10 again 1. 12 itwom saas. 10 again 2. Itwom saas. Itwom sa kasa. 10 again the 3. Itwom sa kata. Itwom sa yiko. Itwom sa inmisa. Itwom sa wastasa. 10 again the 7. Itwom sa wuchacha. 10 and then an 8. So basically we're going 10, the group of 10 and then 8 more, which makes it 18. Itwom sa kay kitwo and then Aiwo. Now, IAY is another form of 2, the number 2. We have as, we have the word kias for 2, and we have also the I in there for the 2. Aiwo means 2 tens. The wo comes from the itwo, so aiwom sa okay. So aiwo is 20 and then 1 again. Aiwom sa okay. Aiwom sa as. Aiwom sa kasa. Aiwom sa kata. Aiwom sa yiko. And 26. Can somebody guess what 26 is going to be? I won't, yeah. I won't in Missa.
I won't go in Missa.
I won't Wistasa. I won't Wuhacha. I won't Kaikito. And then remember 10 was Ito. So 30 Kasanwo. That means there's 3 10s. Kasanwo. Kasa wo ito. Kasanwo. Does everybody understand the number system and how you, so what would 31 be? Any guesses?
I will F Uki.
Kasanwom sa okay.
Okay.
So that's the pattern of the numbers. And at times there's different ways of saying some families say a little differently. With our big group, we had a discussion on the number 90 last week. We had almost a big fight. If we were in the same room, there would have been stuff flying. And and it does get confusing because 90 get one. I said it was get one whoa. And then somebody said, no, that's 900. Get wo is 9, and then the one wo was a 10, right? Get one wo. And because there was 2 woos in there, get one wo, people thought it was saying 900, and I said, no. And then somebody said, get one wo with the M instead of the N, which is just a variant of the same thing, but yeah, we just had a big battle over that one. So it's really interesting because people are learning the language and the pattern. Sometimes you get confused because of the wo ending of gaikituo. They thought that was part of the 10, but it was part of the word 9. But you can't tell people like that. But it was fun. You know, when people say you should end on a good note, we ended up on that note. Go do some homework. Basically what I was telling them. Okay, did that help? Okay.
There are,
Okay, well,
sorry, there
yeah,
are two
go ahead.
different there are 2 different words for tobacco plains. There's the newer one, and then there's the one that's on First Voices. Do you have the pronunciation for the one that's currently on like the website, the one that they use currently?
Yak 8. Yak 8. My brain is dead. Yak 8. I'm thinking of water, so I'm way off here in my mind. Okay, Mary, you're gonna have to help me with that one. I've got the word river is stuck in my mind here, so.
I have Yakignukia in my head, but that's wrong. I'm gonna go and grab my book.
Okay, Yak 8. Yeah, they changed the one that's in the first voices. Akis, oh, I'm just totally, my brain is totally fried tonight. Akin kung sasnokseet. Akin kung sasnokseet means the long valley or the long clearing, long prairie going around the corner is what that means. Because I asked one of the elders years ago what that meant because it didn't make any sense to me. And so yak it uh
Did you see it was written in the chat, Alfred?
Aknukliet.
yeah, aknokseet, yeah. Yak it aknokseet is just basically tobacco plains. The aknokseet is the word for a big uh flat area, I would say. So tobacco plains, back in the days way back, the Ktunaxa had a form of tobacco, a variety of tobacco that they grew. That there were only certain people that would grow it. It was a very sacred plant. And these people were given the responsibility to look after it, and they lived down in that area. And so that's why it was called Yakit Aknokseet. And from when I was a young person, I heard the story that Skinkage came along and took it back. He stole it away. And that eventually we're going to get it back again. So I'm not too sure why he took it, but again, it was when I was really young, and I remember just hearing that part of the story, understanding that why we don't have that strain of tobacco anymore is because coyote came and took it away from the people. So, and all the research claims it was, I think, a nightshade, some kind of nightshade. So that's why it's called yak eight. Yak eight means tobacco. Or nowadays we say, people say that's so another word for cigarette, yak eight. I like the old word for tobacco plains. Akin kung plasnoxide. Took me a long time to memorize that one. I could, when Chief Mary Michelle mentioned that at our elders gathering that day, I should have argued with her. Said, no, don't change it. But I believe some of the issue there was because a lot of the people didn't understand what Akin kung plasnoxide meant. So they wanted to change it to, to that specific area, Yakit Aknokit. And that may have been the area where the tobacco was grown, close to that area. So that was more appropriate for them to change it. Okay, any other questions?
I have a question, Alfred. It's Sanna, and it's back to the numbers. I was just noticing a pattern with the number 4, like hacha, and 8, wuchacha. But then wu, I'm just learning, is related to the number 10. So I'm just trying to see if there's any thing that makes sense about it. Like hacha, and then wuchacha, 4, and double of that is 8. And that's wuchacha, hacha, wachacha.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one, I've looked into that, trying to understand that. And what I basically did with that question and trying to find out that information is I gave it to Coyote.
I see where the story is going.
Yeah, it didn't, because it's such an old language that when we learned the language, when I learned the language, when I heard it, and I had to pick up the words and try and figure out what they meant, because they never sat you down and said, you know, like we're doing here, we're teaching the language. They never did that. We learned it as we went along.
That makes sense.
And yeah, and so it was a matter of, there was a new word that came up, then you'd sort of wonder what that was, and then you'd go and learn about it. I remember I can't remember it right now, but the word that we use for getting married, we have two. I'm going to say we have usually two words for everything in Ktunaxa. Like for getting married, one word, which was the easy word, tukatimas, to take, you know, together. And the other word begins with an H, and I can't remember what that was. But the first time I heard that word, I didn't know what it meant. So I was really curious and trying to figure out what that meant. And that meant that the people had married. So that was a word for marriage, a higher, I call it a higher level of Ktunaxa. So yeah, so the Ktunaxa is fairly hard to learn, because right now my group is learning the easy words, and we're just slowly transitioning into the upper level of the language.
I like how you explain it. If it doesn't really make a lot of sense, you'll blame it on the coyote.
Oh, yeah, we give it to the Coyote, so next time he may have an answer for us when he comes back.
Yeah. Thank you, Alfred.
Alfred and Mara, I notice in the numbers that there is an apostrophe in front of some of the numbers to begin it. What's the difference between the apostrophe and a glottal stop? Or is it the same thing?
An apostrophe is the lazy man's way of writing a glottal. They're both the same. I hate the glottal. Okay, I very seldom use a glottal. I'll use the apostrophe because it's a lot quicker. When you're learning the language, you're not looking at that extra symbol. You know what I mean? Again, it's sort of breaking the rules. People don't like, doing that. I know Crystal, who works with language and culture, she's always putting in the glottal where I have an apostrophe. But for my writing, it's my thinking is I would rather have the word spoken than it's properly written. And that's my goal. That's my focus. And they can give me heck all they want about doing things wrong, but that's that's one of the things that I've always told a group, that my purpose in teaching language is to get the sound out into the air, and into Ktunaxa, and that no matter how, whether it's a single word or whatever, that it's got to be out there. And that I know with my big group, which you are a part of, that I told you guys right towards the start that if I ever said you guys were going to be getting a test on the written part, a spelling test on the Ktunaxa, that you guys would know that I was mad at you guys. so, my focus is on getting the sounds out into the open to basically start stirring up some of our other speakers to be able to bring it forward. It's fairly hard to have the speakers start speaking again because they have very few people to talk to anymore. I don't know how many's left of the speakers, fluent speakers. I know here in our community here in Ktunaxa, we've probably got 1, 2, possibly 3 left. I'm not one of them because I'm learning from the book, and I'm teaching them some of the words that they didn't use or couldn't remember. So I'm just sort of I look at myself as a catalyst to try and bring those speakers to start speaking again. And I know with one elder here, with Marie, she'll come in and if she sees me somewhere and she'll start talking automatically in Ktunaxa, which is really neat because about 7 years ago, I wasn't as fluent as I am now because I immersed myself into learning how to write it and how to teach it and how to try and think of how I say stuff. So yeah, that's basically why the difference. I just always use a comma. So what is your experience then? You've been working with the language for a while. When you see the glottal, how does that affect you when you're reading something?
When I see the glottal, I didn't actually know that they were the same thing. I thought it was just a sound I wasn't sure how to make. I've identified that the glottal is the o, the space in between, and now I'll know that the apostrophe is the same as that.
Yeah.
But I hadn't made that connection until now. There's
Yeah,
too much
so
to learn
the-
all at once.
Yeah, so the apostrophe in front of the A at the beginning of word, it goes, you hesitate to say, let's say, gin akashoni. So when you say akashoni, you're stopping that air from coming out, and then you just say akashoni. So that's a glottal stop. You're stopping the air in your mouth and then starting to say the word. And a lot of times when people don't understand what a glottal stop is when, if you're talking and then you hit yourself in the chest, that's a glottal stop. Like, I am going to say that like that. I am going to say that, and I'm going to say that is, like it is, that's a glottal stop. Then I learned it was easier to teach as a glottal stop rather than having people hit themselves in the chest. Okay, is anybody having issues with some of the sounds that they're still having problems with, like with the cent sign, cha. And then
I
a good
can't
word to
seem,
practice.
I can't
Yeah,
seem
go
to
ahead.
the Bardell. I still can't like make it smooth. Like it's always, I always get hung up on the Bardell as I'm speaking it.
Okay, so make the Wardell sound out for me.
Oh, really? In front of everybody?
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
you
tip
got
your tongue
that?
to the bottom, to the bottom of your bottom teeth. Tip your tongue there. Your tongue's gonna be lifted up like that, and then blow out the side. Yeah. Yeah, go a little bit more air, a little more relaxed. Just relax. Like just about. Yeah, you're getting there.
Wait.
It's starting to come. You're starting it. So I would just practice if yeah during the days during the next week, just practice it and just go. That was another discussion we had with the Bardell. Some of the Bardell people in my group put their tongue up to the top, and I never heard of that until yeah, that was another one of those. He was just, but you don't want to do that because that's the wrong way.
Thank you.
Uh,
I was talking to a friend of mine, Nadine Hale. She said that she did this thing where you could actually see like the MRIs of people making the sounds in another course that she took or something. Like you could see an MRI of a person making a Bardell sound. Is there some way we can see that?
I
velocity
can,
with MRI.
um,
Yeah, go ahead.
I can ask Elise, the linguist in the course that I take with them, if she can send a direct link. And so they did an ultrasound of where the tongue is placed, which was neat to have a visual of the inside of the mouth. So seeing where the tongue muscle is. I'll send Elise an email and send it to Alfred and see if he likes the look of it. And then go from there.
Thank you, Cindy. Sukni.
I'll let you see it first, Alfred.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because one of the things that we have got so many people in the last 2 years, we've had a lot of interest in the language, and prior to that, there was nobody interested in the language. Now, I'm not too sure whether or not it was because of the possibility of funding for the language. That's why there was such an interest in it. But I don't know what I had done. All my work, I've got American knows the type of work that I've done in the past. I have got papers and I probably have, those cloth grocery bags that you go to the store with. I've got probably 2 or 3 of those that can be filled with the language work that I've done over the years. And it's been really interesting. So there wasn't a lot of interest in the language, and everybody has got their own little group that they stick with learning the language. And we haven't quite gotten together to really discuss the language. I think because everybody seems to be wanting to save the language. I was one of those ones. For years I've been saying, when we have a family member that's sick on their deathbed, what does everybody do? They drop everything they're doing and they go and look after that person or be with that person and do a lot of, helping with that. And I used to always tell people, our language is dying, and where's everybody else? Who's looking after it? Who's coming to saving that? And it's only been the last year and a half that that's started to happen. And I'm not too sure why, but I know there's been a lot of money thrown at Indigenous languages to save it. And I think that's probably what it is. But, in my own mind, when I've gotten so far ahead of everybody else, it's quite interesting because the way I teach it is not the way the linguists teach it. I invited them to our language group just to sit in and see what we were doing with the language. And they didn't show up. I was really disappointed because we were looking at it in different ways. We were looking at it in pieces of a puzzle. And all the different sounds mean different things. Like, let's say our word for head, Ktunaxa. And for big head, we say Ktunaxa. Ktunaxa is big, Ktunaxa is big head. But then over the generations, our language made a contraction of those two words to make Ktunaxa as the meaning for big head. So those are all the different things that I'm teaching and looking at the language in a totally different way. And I think that a lot of people are understanding the way I'm teaching it, but it's sort of like a new way of learning. I've confused some of our other ones that were participants that were learning the language before, what they were learning by memorization. And you cannot learn the language by memorization. So in my books, it's a matter of learning the language with understanding the different parts and what they mean and how to build them together. So I know the linguists, they always start using the linguistic terms. And as soon as they do that, I just sort of click. My brain automatically goes into click, which is bad, I guess. I shouldn't do that, but. Any other questions? Anybody else having, how's the scent sign of the ch sound working for everybody? Is it getting better? I think the next week, what we can do is either next week or the week after to give the meaning of all the words that we've been utilizing in our vocal exercises. So now you guys have got the the sounds and the how would you say the pieces all together on how the sounds are being, how the word is pronounced. And I think now we can work at writing down what you guys are saying, so it makes a little bit more sense. And that's how I teach. I teach the sounds and make you learn how to say the sounds without knowing what you're saying. But I think a lot of the words are going to be just stars and X's because they're all swear words. No, they aren't. No, there's some pretty neat words in the in what we've done. So, yeah, I was thinking about that tonight as we were going through, and that kept popping in my head. You know, we have to start putting the meaning of these words so that you guys, you know, start putting the word now that you guys know how to say to the meaning of it. So,
But will we get to learn the bad words? That's what you always want to learn when you learn a new language.
I know. I haven't even taught my group yet, my big group. But I used to hear a lot of those words when I was growing up. It was pretty volatile sometimes, and it was funny sometimes too, though. Yeah, so we'll work on that next week. We'll or this week we'll get down all the different meanings for the different words we've used in the vocal exercises, so that we can write them down next week as we go through them. Any other questions?
So just a quick reminder then for everyone, we'll be meeting for the next 2 weeks just to go over everything. So bring all your questions, bring your pens and paper. We'll have a lot of time to take our breath and go over it slowly. That's it. Anything else, Alfred?
No, I think that's it. We can work at the translation of those words this coming week, and then we can get them out to the people, I guess, in an email.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
can.
the rest over December. Then they know what they've got for words for the vocabulary.
For the vocabulary
Okay.
words, I can send those out to everyone tomorrow morning, so you can get them all tomorrow.
Okay.
So can
Yeah,
you?
we haven't got fancy enough. We haven't got fancy enough so that we can hide those words and then just sort of move the thing and then display what they are in English.
Yeah, give me a year or two.
What were you going to say, Jade?
Gesmeerd.
Just me it. Yeah, just me it.
Gesmeerd.
Perfect.
Brittany, Kisuk, just mad.
Just me it.
Dachta.
Gesmeerd.
Just me it.
Kisuk tishmiat kapineskis. Have a great week, everyone.
Kisuk just me it.